Forge FC is ready for their upcoming match.
Simply stunning stuff! And finally, their goal! My word, what a rocket!
Now, let's get you up to date with Anthony Urciuoli and Match Day Preview on the Forge Audio Network.
Hey, Forge fans, it's the Forge Audio Network. I'm Anthony Urciuoli. The Match Day Preview is on the docket right now, and it is a good one. I know I say this every week, and I'm not lying when I say it, but we are in for a good one this weekend, Sunday in Hamilton. Pacific FC making the trip to Tim Hortons Field, 4 o'clock kickoff. Tickets available now. Let's go back. Let's go back even before TFC, even before Edmonton. I want to bring up that CF Montreal match, which I know was painful for a lot of people, including the Forge players and coaches. But I want to go back to that for a second and maybe look at a turning point of the season. Forge were just flat out disgusted in their performance, especially in that first half against CF Montreal, which they eventually went on to lose 3-0. Players were angry. Not even disappointed, angry. That anger carried over into training that week. They wanted to right their wrongs. They wanted to right the ship. This is not a team that's used to losing. And it left them with a really bad feeling. So now, what happens the next match? They go into Edmonton knowing they have TFC coming up next. So, a little distracted maybe. There was a lot of media attention, a lot of focus on TFC going into that match against Edmonton. They travel to Edmonton, don't put together a great performance, but they gut out a 4-3 win. So, again, they're not thrilled with their performance, but they're feeling good in the way they won. Sometimes you just need to win in different ways. And in this case, they needed to come from behind. They needed to erase 2 deficits. They needed a hat trick from Borges. They did what they needed to do, and they got the W. Then they go and play TFC and play maybe one of the best Forge performances you'll ever see. And it resulted in a loss, but the effort was top-notch. Unlucky, lost in penalties. It's one that you don't like it, but you accept. Sometimes it's out of your control. Sometimes it's just the game. So that loss to CF Montreal, it did something. It sparked something in this club, not just in the club, but some very individual players got a spark and have looked great ever since that disappointing performance. Now you have Pacific FC this weekend, the club that leads, is at the top of the table right now, a club that Forge is chasing. They'll probably tell you they're not chasing per se, but you want to finish at the top of the table. It's not the end of the world if you don't, but it's nice. You guarantee home field throughout the playoffs, and it guarantees a home championship game if you get there. So you want to finish first. The opportunity that's in front of Forge right now, they can not only cut into the Pacific lead, but with all those games in hand, if Forge are able to get 3 points on Sunday at home against Pacific, it completely changes the let's say the way the league is shaping up at the moment. And that's not hyperbole. And even let's go back to that Montreal match. Causation, correlation are 2 different things. But I do feel like that was a turning point, just like I feel like this match on Sunday will go a long way in determining who gets that top seed. And why I'm thinking this way is I took a deeper dive into the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. Forge has played the least amount of games in the CPL, yet they lead the league in goals. 15 goals in 7 matches. Now, just as a comparison, Valor has 14 goals, 1 less, but they played 2 more games. Pacific have 2 less goals than Forge. They played 3 more games. Forge has been coming on, and it's bad news for the rest of the league. Goal conversions. Forge is almost at 24%. The next best team is at 19%. It's an efficient club with a lot of talent, with a very sound system, game plan, incredible coaching. It is going to be very, very difficult for any club to keep Forge down for too long. And the earlier parts of the season, It was an opportunity for teams like Pacific to get a little bit of cushion in their lead in the table. But Forge is coming on. And this match on Sunday, again, we can talk about how early it is. I know players, coaches hate looking at standings and getting too deep into the stats because the game still has to be played. But I'm looking deeper here. CF Montreal match, turning point. Win against Edmonton, should have won against TFC. Now going into a match against Pacific, feeling pretty good if you are Forge. Now I was able to chat this week with a number of players, with of course head coach Bobby Smirniotis. Behind the Beard, the full interview Behind the Beard with Bobby is available now. If you want it, wherever you get your podcast or wherever you get your digital content from Forge, it's there. You can listen to the full thing. It's great. But I just want to focus on Pacific right now. And here's what Bobby had to say about this matchup this weekend. That first match against Pacific seems like ages ago now. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, but it feels that way. Would you say that both clubs are just different? I mean, it feels like the two clubs are different than where they were in that first match.
Yeah, I think, I don't know how different they are. That's, I guess, a question for their coach and their club and how they feel things are. But I think, we've been playing consistently good football. The results haven't been all positive for us, but going from that game, we've been growing. We've been integrating a lot of new players, especially over these last 3-4 games with a lot of our back line out. And we've seen that it doesn't really make us miss a step, and that's the important thing, because I think longevity, I think depth in squad is the most important thing that you see throughout the season, and we've been doing great with that. And we've also seen teams across the league struggle with it, with key players missing out of the lineups and so on. But the one thing's for sure, anytime a team plays Forge, they're at their best, so that's what we expect on Sunday as well.
Now, a couple guys are facing Pacific at Tim Hortons Field for the first time, because they were playing for Pacific. Notably, they were playing for Pacific last season in the CPL final. Hojab Rapport scoring the only goal in that match, which eventually led Pacific to their first ever title. And let's hear from Hojab Rapport, who, since scoring that now infamous goal, if you're in Hamilton, now he's playing for the other side, playing for Forge. And here are his thoughts going into that match against his former club.
Yeah, it's obviously a big goal for me, or it was a big goal for me. But in terms of being on the other side, I think we're just looking forward to another game. I think we were impressed with ourselves, proud of ourselves with the performance we put against TFC. But I think the most important thing for us now is to find a little bit of consistency to, match that performance and start putting a bunch of games together in terms of performance and how good we can play together on the field. I think we've played now 8 or 9 games, maybe even a little more games together now. So there's no excuses for us to not be on the same page. And I think that's a big focus going into this game.
Can you touch on the kind of evolution of the Forge midfield this season? The last time you played Pacific, it was the first game of the season. There were injuries and illnesses. How has the midfield maybe kind of evolved from week one to where it is now?
Yeah, I think we maybe started with Alex, myself, and Bex in the midfield in that game, and now Abu's come into the midfield. Alex has had to drop into the back line because of injuries. But I think that's something always that this team has been able to do. I think a lot of the players are able to play well in multiple positions. And I think we also have the ability to change between formations really well. We work on that a lot in training, being able to be flexible between the way we want to play. And yeah, it just shows when we go into games, we're able to play different styles of play.
Now, Forge did play Pacific earlier this season. It was the first match of the year. Forge was a much different club. I mean, you look at that lineup, even where players are playing. I mean, a lot of those guys aren't even playing in the same position anymore. They're dealing with the illnesses and injury. This is not the same Forge club that lost 2-1 at Pacific in week 1. And, I was able to chat with some guys who were playing different positions or weren't even in the lineup in that match. I talked to Malik and I talked to Abu Sissoko. Now, both guys. Now, in Malik's case, here's a guy he's 19. He just became a pro. Not only is he starting for Forge, he's playing the full 90, and he's been a revelation. A club that needed some help on defense, that needed some healthy center backs. He has stepped in and above and beyond in his performance. Such a quality player. And let's start with him. Here are his thoughts going into Sunday. And also just how I spoke to him, and he just talked about how he's been able to adjust to the pro game so quickly, and how much the leadership group with Forge has helped him along the way.
Well, since I've been here, I've been improving every day in training, working hard, playing at a high level and training with a lot of top players. So every day I've been improving in that aspect, and I feel like with the coaching staff, the tactics that they have in place allow me to perform, and then the teammates, especially guys like Kyle Becker, have really guided me and helped me. So it was a smooth transition going into those games, and then all in all, I just believed in myself, believed in my ability, and then everything clicked, and it's been amazing so far. It's gone well.
Now, Malik Oluwabi-Belawu has some experience playing in Italy, played for Spal, the under 19 team, and ton of experience. The English kid has been very good for Forge. Abu Sissoko, wow. He comes in to Fort. He's more of a fullback, although he's played midfield in his career, but Forge used him mainly as a fullback early on this season. Since then, he has been just a prototypical box-to-box midfielder, contributing in all facets of the game. He's playmaking, he's defending, and I mean, don't be surprised if we start seeing him scoring a little more as well. So Abu Sissoko, I was able to chat with him this week, and here's what he had to say.
You know me, I'm a former midfielder, so when I came here, I came to learn. So here they put me the coach put me as a right back, and I take it serious. So I learn about how to be good and right back. So I put all together as a midfielder, and then he put me as a box-to-box midfielder. So yeah, it's good because of I played right back during the first couple games. So I put the everything, like the baggage I had as a right back with the midfielder, so now I'm a box-to-box, yeah.
Yeah, and you told me early in the season that you're happy to play wherever the coaches want to put you, but is it fun to be able to just be a part of the attack, and when you see your name contributing to the score sheet and to some of the goals, does it bring a little extra, maybe it's a little more fun to play on the attack?
Of course, but the things like, if I give the ball to my teammates and they put on the net, so you have to have the teammates capable to put the ball on the net, and then you have your name on the score sheet. So no, just I enjoy every day, every moment. So whatever the coach gonna put me, I will play. Maybe even as a goalkeeper, I will play. So I just enjoy every moment, and then that's it.
All right, Forge is ready. Pacific is ready. Forge looking to cut into that Pacific lead. Stage is set. Forge is ready. I'm ready. You're ready. I'll be at the match this weekend, and I hope to see you there.
Forge FC is prepared, and now you are informed. This has been Match Day Preview with Anthony Urciuoli on the Forge Audio Network. Subscribe on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.